Hey, good morning, everyone. How are you guys doing today? How are you guys doing? This is Gregory Wiles coming live to you from Houston, Texas with his inspirational morning talk. First time listeners, I just get some exercise in the mornings and I share my thoughts with you guys, what I'm inspired to talk about that day. If you miss it, if you like what you're hearing or you miss any of these talks, you can always go on YouTube and get it there. I usually try to upload them after we finish here. I'm a little guilty. The last two I didn't get a chance to upload them to YouTube yet, but after I finish here, I'll go and upload all three of them. But yes, man, it's a beautiful weather here, guys. It's nice here in Houston. I hope you guys having great weather wherever you are and starting to come into that approaching that summer, right? It's all the summer fun and all the outdoor activities. Yes, we're getting there. Hey, but what I want to talk about today, I want to talk about the power of the unity, coming together, saying the same thing, the power of that, right? I was listening to this guy, Kevin Ewing, I tell you, I was listening to, and he had a really nice, detailed teaching of this, and how he said the teaching is stemmed. A rumor is going around about him. He's scheduled to go to Jamaica sometime next month, I think, to do a conference over there. And someone had started spreading a rumor that he suffered a massive stroke in Jamaica. He's not in Jamaica yet, but the rumor is going around that he suffered a massive stroke in Jamaica. And he went on to explain what a person is trying to doing by spreading that rumor, right? By spreading the rumor. And it was really eye-opening. It was nice. I think the name of that teaching is Silencing Evil Declarations. He went on about 3 hours and explained out fine about this achieve by spreading the rumor now before he got there, to get everyone on the same page, to get thousands of people saying the same thing, and the goal and what the goal is by doing that. So I think it was a nice detailed teaching. He laid out everything nicely. Then he touched on this one here, but the Tower of Babel, which I want to share today. I want to talk about this, what he shared in his teaching about the Tower of Babel and this principle of unity. I think I enjoyed that teaching. I haven't finished it yet. I got to go back and finish it off. But yes, this is a principle of unity, right? And there's certain things in the Bible are principles. Certain things are laws. And then there's certain things that are principle, right? A principle means it can be used for either good or bad. It could use for good or bad. When it's a principle, it could use for good or bad. Like fasting. Fasting is a biblical principle, right? You could use it to fast, to tap into the spiritual realm, either for good or bad. The people who do the iniquity, the people who do the obia, the voodoo, all that, they fast also to their gods to get power too, right? So that's a praying. Praying is a principle. People pray to different type of gods, right? So certain things are principle, and it's a principle that can use for both good and bad. So let's look at this power of unity here, and we can take this story, the Tower of Babel, and then we look at some other scriptures to support what we're saying, right? The Tower of Babel, right? So let's look at that and see this principle in this story. That's the principle I'm talking about with unity. He said, now, this is Genesis 11, 1 through 9. Genesis 11, 1 through 9. So where it said, now the whole world had one language and one common speech. This is the NIV version. So now the whole world had one language and one common speech. As people moved eastward, they found a plain in Shinar and settled there. So the world had one language. Everybody speak the same language, whether there's English, whether there's Hebrew, whether there's Spanish, whether there's Chinese, German, whatever. They speak the same language, right? One speech they had, right? Okay, let's go on. They said to each other, come, let us make bricks and bake them thoroughly. They use bricks instead of stone and tar for mortar. So right? Then they said, come, let us build ourselves a city with a tower that reaches to the heavens, so that we may make a name for ourselves. Otherwise, we will be scattered over the face of the whole earth. So they all come together. Remember to speak in one language, right? Speaking language. So they all come together and say, hey, let's make these bricks, man. Let's build this big build a city and build this tower that reaches the heavens, right? Let's come together and build this stuff. Otherwise, we'll be scattered over the face of the earth, right? So what I'm saying, this is a principle, and you can see how the principle play out here. They all come together, speaking one language, agree on the same thing. They all agree on the same thing, right? They all agree on the same thing. We're not going to get into deeply into the reason why they would build a tower, but I can just share two quick things why it was against, why God was against it. So let's go on. But the Lord came down to see the city and the tower the people were building. Now this get to God's attention. All these people come together and agree on the same thing. So God said, okay, hold on. Something cooking up on earth there. Let me go and investigate and see. My little spider sense is telling me something going on down there I need to go and take a look at. So, but the Lord came down to see the city and the tower the people were building. The Lord said, hey, listen to this. This is the part I really want to get to. I'm going to focus on today. The Lord said, if as one people speaking the same language, they have begun to do this, then nothing they plan to do will be impossible for them. This is the Lord speaking. And he's saying, if as one people speaking the same language, they have begun to do this, then nothing they plan to do will be impossible for them. Why God would say this? Why he would say this? If as one people speaking the same language, they have begun to do this, then nothing they plan to do will be impossible for them. This is God speaking, right? God speaking. He said, no, if these people come together and agree on the same thing, nothing will be impossible for them. He is giving us a principle of unity, right? Like I said, it could be good for good or for bad. But they decide to use this for bad here because their motives for building this tower was not right. Number one, they want to build something to reach heaven. It's like, well, God, we don't need you. They want to make a name for themselves, as first it said. Come, let us build. Then they said, come, let us build ourselves a city with a tower that reaches the heaven, that we may make a name for ourselves. They don't want to, God, we want to make this name for ourselves. We want to do this thing on our own. We want to reach the heaven, God, but we don't need your help to get to heaven. We can get to heaven on our own strength, right? Strike one. I don't need to get. I want to make a name for myself. When I get to heaven, it must not be because you help me to get to heaven, God, because of what you can do in your power. I can get to heaven on our own accord, right? That's strike one. Number two, then they said, otherwise, if they don't do this, otherwise we'll be scattered over the face of the whole earth. Why this is important? You might say, what is doing them being scattered over the face of the earth got to do with it? Right? But you remember in Genesis 9, remember these are the descendants of Noah, right? In Genesis 9:1, what God told them after the flood. Then God blessed Noah and his sons and told them, be fruitful and multiply, fill the earth. Richard Booth, good morning, sir. Good morning. How are you doing, man? How are you doing? Yeah, so he told them here in Genesis 9:1, then God said, to Noah and his sons, be fruitful and multiply, fill the earth. So they didn't want to do that. They want to defy him. So that's why they say, hey, if we build this tower here, we can prevent us from being scattering, whatever the reason in war. That's not what we're getting into, right? But what I want to say, the power of this unity. God himself said, if they come together, all agree, speaking the same language and do this, nothing will be impossible for them. But here we said, come, let us go down and confuse the language so they will not understand each other. What I want to hear, guys, we got a lot of power when we come together as one and agreeing on the same thing. That's why companies, that's why any organization would want everyone to be on the same accord, to give them the manual when they start out. They're saying, we want everyone following these laws, all of us agreeing to do the same thing, all of us buying into our principle, buying into our vision. And we have all of us buying into this vision, and we all on the same accord. we will achieve our goal. We will achieve our goal once we come together, right? So as Christians, I'm telling people and at different groups, if you want success, come together, speaking the same language, agreeing on the same things. But like I said, this is a principle and it could use both ways. In this case, it would use for bad. But you see, God has an antidote for everything. It's like these special forces in the military and stuff. When they have these men specially trained to do a mission, highly trained men, they have to now in turn get another force training to stop them just in case they turn against the system. Right? So it's like God said, okay, I got this principle down there. If y'all come together, y'all gonna achieve anything. But I didn't really intend it for it to bad. But I know how the enemy will use this same principle against me. But I have the antidote for it. I will just confuse you and split you up. Let you guys stop speaking the same language. Right? I can stop you from doing this. And that's what people talk about, divide and conquer and all that kind of stuff. Because if they could get you to stop speaking the same language, stop agreeing on the same thing, stop coming together, now you can't achieve your success no more. That's why it's important in families, in homes. Husband and wife need to be on the same accord. They need to be agreeing on the same things, setting the vision for the house, and the kids are going to follow along if the vision is consistent, if both parties on the same page. It's why it's important. If husband doing one thing, wife doing one thing, not agreeing, now they're not speaking the same language. Where the kids, what do you think happening with the kids? What do you think happening in the household? That's why when them men was accusing Jesus of casting out demons by the prince of Beelzebub, the prince of demons, they're saying, in other words, you is the prince of the demons helping you to cast out the demons. And when Jesus tell him that don't make sense, because a house divided will not stand, right? Remember he tell him the house divided will not stand. So you got to be saying the same language. You got to be on the same page. And that's why we come to, let's look at Matthew 18, 19, and 20. Matthew 18, 19, and 20. And this might make a little more sense too. It said, again, this was Jesus speaking. Again, truly I tell you that if two of you on earth agree about anything they ask, they say if two agree about anything they ask, it will be done for them by my Father in heaven. For where two or three gathered in my name, there I am with them. So he's saying here, this is the principle. If two or three you guys agree on the same thing, Morris Agrippa, how are you doing? Good morning, sir. If two or three you agree, so if more people agree, and that's why prayer groups are so powerful. That's why prayer groups, any church who have a vibrant prayer group, and people can come together and agree and speak the same language like these people here who God was telling them. If they can come together and speak the same language and do this, nothing can be impossible for them. That's what he's saying. If two or three come together in my name, I can be right there. So that's the power of unity. What he's saying, right? We come together as one, nothing can be impossible. But if we all speak in different languages, not on the same page, so to speak, we can't achieve the success that we're looking for, guys. So I can tell you guys, the whole moral of this right now, in your home, make sure everybody working towards the same goal. You, your wife, the girlfriend, whoever is in the house, y'all speaking the same language. Y'all working towards a common goal. In your job, that's why it's important. In the church, either way, we all got to be speaking the same language for us to get the success that we are looking for. We got to be speaking the same language. This is the Tower of Babel. This is the Lord said when these people was building the Tower of Babel for the people that just joined. The Lord said if as one people speaking the same language, they have begun to do this, then nothing they plan to do will be impossible for them. Nothing they plan to do will be impossible for them. They're speaking the same language. They're agreeing on the same thing. It's power in that. There's a principle, and they're going to get what they're seeking, right? But you got to make sure that in this case, because God can always step in when you're trying to use this principle against him and use it for evil. He's going to step in. But if you use it for good, he said, I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. 2 or 3, you guys come together and praying for my name, whatever you're asking for. Hey, I'm right there with you, right, guys? So this, like I was telling people, this is part of a little teaching that Kevin Ewing, the guy from the Bahamas, did. Anybody want to listen to that? He did a great job of explaining this whole power unity. He called it Silencing Evil Declarations. And you can look at it. It's about a 3-hour teaching, but he laid out step by step a lot of these principles in there. I just take a little part to look at today. All right, guys? Well, have a great day. Have a great day, guys. And enjoy your weekend. We'll talk again on Monday. Goodbye.